How on earth are we in a situation where we don't have enough to be in the top 10 of the table, even with poor form?
These are teams that cannot win games of football in the Premier League until they play us.
If you set yourself up as a defensive-minded coach who wants a clean sheet mentality and you're not even doing that, then what's the point of you?
Tottenham Hotspur, the ninth richest club in the world, are in a relegation battle. 1 win in 8, 7 points off the bottom 3. But we are 5th in the Champions League table, so it's all roses, really. Hello, Tom.
Hello, chaps.
Hi, Mark.
How are we doing?
I'm Graham. I'm very depressed.
Yeah, you got every right to be.
I mean, the sort of crowd videos I've seen from Turf Moor are pretty brutal again. You know, singing for Pochettino, chanting the football's rubbish. You're getting sacked in the morning. We want Frank out. I mean, it's pretty clear, isn't it? I'm struggling to find anybody now that is stick with him.
From a Spurs point of view, no, not from a Spurs fan's point of view. I think we said last week there seems to be a lot of sort of affection for Frank in the football world, but those people aren't watching the games.
Yeah, good you said that, because I've just seen Glenn Murray on the BBC say that we should stick with Frank because he's got to have time to change the culture. I'm interested in what he thinks we're changing the culture into, because I've got a feeling he's accepting finishing 17th every year, because I'm pretty sure Ange was sacked on the basis that that wasn't the sort of club we wanted to be.
I think the trouble now though is that we've almost missed the boat because for me there is no worse point in the season than losing at West Ham. So if you look at, obviously we had the Dortmund win, which was a good win. Then we have this game here, which we've drawn. So we've not lost it. Like I say, to me, the worst point in the season will be West Ham at home. If you were going to sack him, that is when you had to sack him. Like anything that happens between now and the end of the season is not going to be as bad. And so this week, you look at this week, and actually we played pretty well against Dortmund, and we did all right. When you look just at that Burnley game, we had the best of the game. We should have won. We hit the bar. The goalkeeper made loads of good saves.
He had a very good game.
He had a very good game. Like we should have won that game. We deserved to win that game, but we didn't. But it's still not as bad as losing to West Ham at home. So you're now in a position where you're in a week where it's not as bad as it was last week. So why would you sack him? Because it's improved slightly.
Oh God, that is a miserable state of affairs, isn't it?
Isn't it? That's the trouble.
The other thing is that we now got 1 week of the transfer window left.
Exactly.
Sacking him now, you're just making club signings, aren't you?
Yeah.
But
add to that as well, look at our fixtures now. City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal. We're not expecting to win any of them anyway. So it's almost like a free punt.
We have to. Are we in a relegation scrap before we started the West Ham Burnley fixtures? Now we've only got 1 point out of those 2 games of 2 teams really quite close below us and in the relegation places.
Yep. And Bournemouth have just beaten Liverpool.
Yeah.
We are properly in a relegation scrap.
Of course we are.
And there is no way that the 9th richest club in the world, so bigger revenue last season than Chelsea, who won the World Club Cup. How on earth are we in a situation where we don't have enough to be in the top 10 of the table, even with poor form?
And that's why it's even more frustrating, because the 9th richest club in the world can afford to sack their manager. And I still lay this at the door of Thomas Frank. We've got this soft underbelly at the minute where when it starts to get difficult, we retreat. And weirdly, it seems to get difficult just after half time when Thomas Frank has spoken to everybody. So I'm really concerned that we're just repeating the old mistakes of the past. On the commentary today, they were saying you cannot say these players aren't playing for Thomas Frank. My concern is they absolutely are, because they're coming out with these tepid second half performances happening against Dortmund. So I just don't understand why we're accepting this level of performance. When we have the means to beat teams like West Ham, beat teams like Burnley, and not feel like we're on the back foot when we're already 2-0 up at home against a 10-man Dortmund.
The first sort of 15, 20 minutes were really good, and then obviously that we had the advantage of them getting a man sent off, but we were already really good against Dortmund. I thought
Yeah.
we were on the front foot. We were everything that really up for it, really energetic, really intense, really aggressive. Up to half time, we carried on like that. And you sort of expected us to come out again to play in their half of the pitch because they were down to 10 men. But they stepped up, and we've got to remember that Dortmund are having a decent season in the Bundesliga this year.
They still,
Bayern are
but
miles ahead.
it's still
But
with 10 men.
yes, but they're not a rubbish team. They
No,
aren't rubbish. I mean, you could question how they let us have so much space on the wing
Yeah, they were so
tactically,
naive, weren't they?
but they're not a rubbish team, are they? There's no way they're a rubbish team. So they stepped up in the second half, and we did control that. We didn't really let them in the game. We defended well. But my question and my point is that was what obviously was said at half time. Take a step back. We don't want to be on the front foot, and that you've got to manage games, and I understand that, but that is his default thing, isn't it? And we came out today second half, and it was very similar. First half, as a body of work, apart from the ridiculously easy equaliser we gave away, the body of work was really good up in the first half. We played as well as we have done for a while. We come out second half, and Burnley were just more aggressive, and all of a sudden we can't get out again. And when they scored their second, which again is an absolute terrible goal to give away, then of course we get more aggressive. He puts some attacking subs on, and we have some chances to get back in the game, and eventually we get a draw. And it seems a bit better because we got out of turf more with a draw. But again, you can absolutely argue that he's decimated by injuries. And I give him a pass for not being in the top 6.
yeah.
That does not justify being dominated by the teams that we've played in the last 8 games. It just doesn't. We haven't bearing in mind our fixtures coming up are teams that you'd expect to be on the back foot against. We haven't played any team recently, certainly not in the last 6, that you think, actually, we shouldn't be really in that game and getting big points.
Well, but look at the records. Look at the records. Again, it's Dr. Tottenham. I hate saying it, but it's so true. Was it Bournemouth hadn't won in 10, West Ham hadn't won in 11, Burnley hadn't won, and I know they didn't win today either, but they hadn't won in, what, 16, 13, was it?
Yeah.
Like, these are teams that cannot win games of football in the Premier League until they play us.
Yeah. Well, Burnley
It
certainly don't score 2 goals regularly.
No.
No.
They really don't. I think they've got a worse XG per game than Spurs, and
Yeah.
I think they're the only team that is.
And of course, if that wasn't bad enough, once again, it's our centre-backs digging us out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that finish by Van der Ven and then the header by Romero was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Well, it was a good header against West Ham as well,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic headers, and I'll bring this up later, but Odegaard's cross was really good as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun to say,
What?
isn't it? The centre backs.
What? No, it's not fun.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
If we were winning, if we were winning quite regularly, and our centre backs were our top scorers, we'd all be having a laugh and a joke about, this is fantastic.
It's all very Ange, isn't it?
It's
It's like we'd be laughing about total football and all that sort of stuff, but actually, it is just like, my goodness, how are we this bad? Scoring goals, because again, we're the most goals from corners in the Premier League. Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic, wonderful. But
Yeah.
that's only good if you add in a normal season of scoring goals. At the moment, it's basically keeping us out of the drop zone, and that is it, isn't it?
I get that there's a certain giddiness around your centre backs continually banging them in, but you shouldn't be in that state. And it is frightening that our captain and our lead defensive centre back is having to. I don't know if it's Thomas Frank going, right, Cootie, get yourself up there, or if he's just taken. It feels, and we've said this about him before. It feels like he's making a decision
Yeah,
on the pitch,
I
and this
absolutely think
I
it's
go
that.
back to what I said before about this commentator saying, "Oh, these players are playing for him." I'm not sure they are. I think they're taking a decision on the pitch,
I
saying,
think they're getting to a point sometimes where they're feeling embarrassed,
"Yeah,
and they just think,
that is exactly what I was going to say." I think their professional pride takes over, and they go, "Actually, I think we need to try and score a goal." Madness, isn't it? That's what a crazy approach that is. So yeah, it's you're saying sort of it's like Ange from last season, but it's kind of like the reverse because our strikers and our attacking players were scoring the goals, but we were still letting them in. Well, now it's our defenders that are scoring the goals, and we're still letting them in. I, we are in such a mess.
the 2 goals today, Romero steps out, misses the interception, leaves a massive hole, and they score the second goal. The first goal, Van der Ven's late getting out, and it keeps him onside. And it's only it's minor miscalculations, but again,
Makes a
like
difference, doesn't it?
it's but we're not defensively strong, and we're poor at everything apart from set pieces, attacking wise.
And I go back to what I said last time, which was if you set yourself up as a defensive minded coach who wants a clean sheet mentality and you're not even doing that, then what's the point of you?
It's a cheap shot, but Brentford's set piece coach has taken over. He's got more responsibility, and Brentford are now a better team than they were last season. We've got Brentford's coach, and the only good thing we're getting is the set pieces, which we have a specialist set piece coach for. So, what is Thomas Frank adding over and above set pieces? I mean, I'm obviously so frustrated at the moment because I don't understand why we're being asked to put up with it. But other than the fact of managerial and leadership incompetence above him.
Do you think they're going to sack him? Because the more this goes on, the more I get the feeling they're not going to. Because, like I say, if they were going to, surely it would have been after West Ham, and I don't know. I don't see how you can sack him in these next 4 games against the good teams. Because if we lose all 4, well, I mean that's kind of expected. So
So
how can you sack him after
one
that?
theory is you don't sack him now. You let him have the 4 games on the expectation that it's not going to get any better anyway, but it might do, and then you don't have to sack him.
Yeah,
If he still loses all these next 4 games, then what you can do is bring in somebody, an interim or a new coach that has the chance of a new coach bounce because the fixtures then look
yeah,
easier on paper.
yeah,
That is exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking you actually make a better case for it if we go through these next 4 games in the league, get battered. You can say we backed him. And I don't know how many managers can go through 6 games when, let's face it, we're expecting 5 of those to be defeats after West Ham and the draw today. The next 4, yeah, I think they're more likely to get rid of him after that. But even saying that, I could see them hanging on to the end of the season because that will maybe just make it an easier decision, and there's less mess, and also the amount of managers that are going to be available in the summer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a risk though, isn't it? Because if he
yeah.
keeps losing, we are going into this 4 game stretch where I think most of us are pretty skeptical that we're going to get many points out of it.
Yeah, let's face it. If we manage to get what 2, 3
3?
points, yeah, like let's be optimistic and say 4 points, 4 points out the next 4 games.
Yeah, we'd be well happy.
I mean,
I mean, to be fair, if we get an average of a point per game over the rest of the season, that's probably fine because it'll mean we stay up.
Yeah,
I mean, that's where we're
yeah.
at, isn't it?
yeah,
To be at the point where as long as you win 1 in 3, but you're saying about but as long as he wins 1 in 5, well, he's only won 1 in 6 of the easy fixture run.
I mean, the classic thing is like get to 40 points. We need 12 more points. It is insane that we're thinking we can't get 12 more points. I think if we get to the end of this next 4 game run and we've picked up 4 points, That's amazing. That's an amazing. If we scrape a win and scrape a draw, but we look back at those 4 games and we've averaged a draw against those 4 teams, I would take that. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, last season we beat Man United 4 times. Yeah,
I needed
yeah,
that.
we
No, I
beat.
needed that. Thank you.
No, but remember, last season was so bad,
Mm.
so bad, but we still beat Man United 4 times, and now we're looking at a Man United fixture going, "Oh, crikey." They haven't suddenly improved everything, have they? They bought a few players in the summer, but I didn't go into this season thinking Man United are miles ahead of us now. No way.
But they are. We have gone so far backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Man United haven't improved. We've just gone so far backwards. It's crazy. So I think it's probably worth dragging that Frankometer out because it could be a bit of a momentous week, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the quick recap of the rules, of course, is that if all 3 of us for 3 weeks in a row say Frank out, then we do write a strongly worded email to the club to express our huge disappointment in his continued employment.
Yeah. Big font as well.
Yeah, but in a big font. Now, for the last 2 weeks, we've said Frank out, but this week he has won a game.
He's unbeaten.
He's unbeaten this week. So, has he turned it around? So, Tom, I'll let you go first.
No. Look, as good as it was against that first half against Dortmund, and as good as it was against that first half against Burnley, Dortmund still had a man sent off and we struggled against them. Burnley are going to get relegated this season and we struggle in the second half against them. I still don't have faith that he can turn this around. And for me, it still has to be Frank out.
Fair enough. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I said a few weeks ago, it's almost not even about him anymore. And to my point a little bit earlier, I feel like we've really missed the best timing for it. I almost can't see the point of doing it, but something has to change. So I am very much still saying Frank out.
Yeah, I think it's untenable. I don't think he gets to a point at any point where he will be trusted by the fans. And the fans are the club, no matter what anybody else in the hierarchy thinks. I've always felt I'm patient. The last time I felt like this was with Santini, and I got to the point where I didn't want to go because it was so dull, and that's going out years and years and years, isn't it? So yeah, Frank out. So now, boys, we've just got to draft the email.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can do that over a little bit of a committee meeting whilst we're in Frankfurt next week.
Yes, we are all going out to Frankfurt. So anybody listening that's also going, if you spot us, come and say hello. Come and say what you think about the pod, as long as it's good. We are sensitive souls, so we don't need negative feedback. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, really looking forward to getting around and about it and meeting a few people and seeing Spurs in the Champions League, which apparently we're decent at.
It's a Jekyll and Hyde situation, isn't it? And by that game on Wednesday, we might even know if we've qualified anyway, because if results go our way, we could still be in the top 8 before we start the game. So part of me kind of doesn't want that in the sense that if that is the case, Frank might play it safe. Although, to be fair, he hasn't got the squad to do it, has he? But yeah, look, I think I said last time, this is a tick box for me. My first European away
Is
game.
it your first one? Gosh.
Yeah. So I'm absolutely buzzing, even though the form is slightly questionable. And yeah, if there's people out there that's listening that's also going to the game, stick a comment on the pod. Let us know where you'll be, and you might see us around.
Yes.
We might make it very obvious that we're there.
Right, I think that's probably a good point then to go into the predictions, isn't it? Seeing as we've got Frankfurt, and then we've also got Manchester City, which is we've all been saying we're not going to get any points, but we've got our gimme game on Sunday.
Absolutely.
How's the league going, Mark? I haven't predicted Romero to score for the last 3 weeks, and he's banging them in. So
it's so weird because then when it did actually happen for Mark, you still didn't follow through and do it again.
Yeah, brilliant. So yes, last week's predictions, Dortmund at home, obviously, we won, and none of us predicted we were going to win, but both myself and Graham did predict that wonderfully crisp finish from Dom Solanke. So we get 1 point each. And then Burnley away, again, myself and Graham both naively thought we were going to win. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's happened again. Tom, he's got another clean sweep bonus.
Clean sweep bonus.
Tom correctly predicted 2-2 draw, and he picked Van de Ven. And may I remind you, just based on the fact that he has a pulse, that was how you picked Mickey Van de Ven. But I actually went back on your previous clean sweep bonuses just before we started recording today, because I wanted to check and see what odds you would get for making those selections.
This is now painful on multiple levels. Go on.
This is where Tom finds out he could have paid off his mortgage with a £5 bet.
Well, so the first one that you did was the Doncaster League Cup 3-0 win. You predicted Johnson to score. Nice and simple, 15-1. Nothing to get excited about.
Good return, though.
You wait. You then predicted away to Leeds that we would win 2-1, Mohamed Kudus to score. You would have got around about 70-1 for that. Moving on to Aston Villa, the FA Cup game, where you correctly predicted we would lose 2-1, Wilson Odobert to score. You would have got about 100-1 for that. And finally, this week, Burnley away, 2-2 draw, Mickey Van de Ven to score. You would have got around about 240-1 for that combination.
Man.
Any ideas
God.
Any ideas what the accumulator on that would have been then? We're talking massive money, aren't we?
So the accumulator on those four would be 25 million to 1.
Shut up!
Right.
That's not right, is it?
I should just buy the club.
25 million to 1.
When are we getting sponsored by Betfred?
Well, put it this way, I may be sticking a fiver down on your selections from now on.
But can I recommend that anybody else listening to this podcast shouldn't, and I take no responsibility.
When the fun stops, stop. And that is for betting and supporting Spurs. This is just a game. Please add a comment that what you think your predictions for the upcoming games are going to be, but please don't take them seriously.
If you've listened to the pod at all, you will realise that we are not experts.
Right. So, games coming up then. Tom, what's your predictions for Frankfurt?
So, I'm going to go for a 3-2 win for Spurs. That's right.
Wow.
I'm not sure where this is coming from, but please don't put any weight or expectation on it. But I think, there will need to be that ability to stay in the game for as long as possible, because the results could change quite a lot over the night. And I get a feeling it could get quite chaotic. I think we spoke last week about the number of teams that are just below us on points. So I think it could be quite a chaotic game, especially if there's sort of different scores coming in. Within that chaos, I'm going to back us to surprise ourselves and come out with it with a 3-2 win. I'm going to say the scorer is going to be Solanke's going to get another.
So I actually subscribe to that chaotic theory because Eintracht Frankfurt are a pretty chaotic team. They concede a lot of goals, but they also score a fair few as well. But obviously they are already out. They have absolutely nothing to play for but pride. And we were looking, weren't we, midweek actually, that a number of the teams that we've had to play in the Champions League, they're all in the bottom kind of 6. So I think it's fair to say we had a favourable draw.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we've been pretty effective in Europe. I do think we'll get the job done. So I am going to say we're going to win by 2-1. And someone who has looked particularly impressive in the European games is Xavi Simons. So I'm going to back him to finally get a goal for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. And I think it's going to be a draw because although Frankfurt haven't got anything to play for, I think they'll want to go out of the Champions League in front of their own fans, putting on a bit of a performance. And remember that the prize money for getting a point in the Champions League and getting a win in the Champions League is really, really quite a lot of money. So I think the club will want to, put on a show. I think we'll get a draw out of it for the reasons that Mark said, that, Frankfurt do concede goals. So I'm going to go for 1-1, and I'm going to go for Pedro Porro.
All right. Fair enough.
Can we just double check? He said Pedro Porro and not Romero.
Yeah, I can say.
Okay.
I did say Pedro Porro. Right. So the second game of the week is our home banker every season. It is Manchester City on Sunday. I'll go first on this one. I just think that somehow we are going to win this game. I've got no reason to believe it at all. It could be because we have a new coach in. It could be because we've got some new signings in. But I just think that we're at the point now where we're going to be one of those teams that will just get a random result, and then we'll probably lose the next 6. But I don't know why, but I just believe we're going to get a result against Manchester City. So I think we are going to win 3-1.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think Dom Solanke's going to score.
Wowzers. Tom.
And I am going to get pelters, absolute pelters for this. But if I'm right, then I will have a huge grin on my face.
I mean, you're going to get pelters from us, I think, let alone everyone else. Go on, Tom.
I think we're probably going to lose 2-0. Yeah, Manchester City, I think that they've turned a slight corner when you can win it away in the Premier League and not play Haaland. I think you're probably a decent team. Yeah, I just don't see it happening for us. Yeah, I'm going to say we're going to lose that one 2-0. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'm going to go in the middle. I mean, I do think that we are their bogey team. Hopefully that counts for something. City, yeah, they are struggling by their own standards. So I think they're still definitely vulnerable at the back. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. And I reckon we might see something from Wilson Odobert.
Right. Okay. So I think it's time to have some light relief. I think it's time for Tom's teaser.
Play that jingle.
Tom's teaser.
Right, chaps. We're off to Germany in a few days' time. Can't wait. Absolutely buzzing. And so I thought I would honour one of our favourite Germans to play for Tottenham Hotspur. I'm even wearing the shirt that he adorned when he played for us.
Stefan Freund.
I knew you'd do that. And you did it in unison as well.
Yes.
You beautiful idiots. Right. Of course, I mean Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yes.
So we're going to go for a tit-for-tat quiz. You're both going to get 5 questions about Jurgen Klinsmann's time with Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm going to make it easy for you boys because we've had a tough few weeks. So it's even multiple choice. So let's start with, I'm going to start with Graham because after that Man City prediction, I'm just pitying him the more. So let's start with question 1. In which year did Jurgen Klinsmann first join Tottenham Hotspur? Was it 1993, 1994, or 1995?
1994, after the World Cup.
Correct. 1 point to Graham. Mark, your question. How much did we pay for Jurgen Klinsmann? Was it 1.5 million, 2 million, or 3 million?
I'm going to say 2 million.
And you'd be right. Point each. Graham, your second question. In his first season, how many goals did he score? 29, 30, or 31?
Before you came up with the choices, my head said 31.
Really? Because it was 29.
Okay.
Mark, your next question. In his first season with us, how many appearances did he make? 38, 41, or 43?
I would say 41.
And you'd be right. Graham, your next question. Who did he score his first goal against? Was it Nottingham Forest, West Ham, or Sheffield Wednesday?
Sheffield Wednesday.
It was Sheffield
Definitely.
Wednesday.
Iconic.
Definitely.
Iconic.
Okay, so 2 points each. Mark, who did he join when leaving us in 1995? It was after that one season. Was it AC Milan, Bayern Munich, or PSG?
I am going to say PSG.
Steal.
You can't steal.
What?
It's a multiple
There's no
choice.
stealing.
I know, but there's still 2 choices left.
Yeah, so your odds are greatly improved. No, it was. Graham, do you want to say what it was?
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it was Bayern Munich. No points for Graham. Okay. What year did he rejoin Spurs? Was it 96, 97, or 98?
I think it was 97 because it was the second half of the season, wasn't it?
Graham is correct. 3-2. Okay, Mark, in his second stint with us, how many goals did he score? 7, 8, or 9?
Well, he wasn't there that long, was he? And I think he scored 4 against Wimbledon in one game, didn't he, in that second stint? So I'll go 9.
Is correct.
I hope I haven't given away one of the other answers now. Whoops.
Every Spurs fan of a certain age can remember Klinsmann coming back and scoring 4 goals against Wimbledon.
Well, I hope that's my question.
This is great because it kind of works out lovely. Graham, what shirt number did Klinsmann wear? Was it
18.
10, 18? Completely forgetting the format of the quiz, but you get the point. It was 18. So, Mark, you might get this. Who did Klinsmann score 4 goals against in May 1998?
Give me the choices, Tom.
Okay, it was Wimbledon, Barnsley, or Coventry.
Was it Wimbledon?
That's right, yeah. 6-2. So we won that game 6-2. Just to avoid any confusion if anybody's thinking, saying 1998, hang on, Graham said 1997. So he did join us in December 1997, and the question was about the year. So, yeah, that's if anybody's got any confusion, he joined us in 1997. Graham was right.
I don't see why they would, Tom. I don't know why you suddenly think there'd be any confusion.
Yeah.
Well, I just like to make sure everybody's up to date with the points. So, with that in mind, what do we have here? Graham, you scored 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark, you scored 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a tiebreaker.
My goodness. It just shows, doesn't it, that our 1990s knowledge is much better than our 3 years ago knowledge.
Damn right. So, Graham, you went first in the quiz. I'm going to give Mark the chance to go first in the tiebreaker. And it's a very simple one, really. Mark, I want you to tell me what age you think Klinsmann was when he first joined Spurs.
I think he would have been 30.
Graham?
I think he was 29.
Sadly, he was 30 years old when he joined Tottenham, which means Mark, once again, wins Tom's teaser. It's a bit of a landmark moment in Tom's teaser. Mark is now twice as many points ahead of Graham, with the scores currently sitting at Graham 6 and Mark 12.
Tom's teaser.
Wow. So what you're saying is I could rotate myself out of the next couple if I want to save myself.
Yeah, if you wanted to sub anybody in. Hey, I don't know if Freddie's listening, but if you feel like you can sort of just step in for Mark for a couple of weeks, actually, probably, why don't you step in for Graham? I think that would be a better idea.
I mean, to be fair, the comeback might be on. Right, so before we end, even though it's all doom and gloom still, I'd like to do a positive Spurs.
Now everybody, haven't you heard? Here's a guy that can polish your turd. When you think you've got nothing to give, he'll stay positive. Positive Spurs.
I've had a really good think, and I just want to give a shout out to possibly a shining light over the last few games, which, since Kudus has been injured, I think Odegaard has really stepped up.
Yes.
I think he's done he's not the finished article. He's still raw, but his end product has improved. or we're starting to get an end product from him. Another fantastic assist today. He got 2 assists in the Champions League game. I do think we need to stick behind our players. I think we've got a young squad, and I do think there is a possibility that a few of these players are going to turn into real gems if we can hold on to them in the Championship. So I think
Hey, none of that. This is
Wow.
positive Spurs.
this positive. No,
It's got that
bad. I think, all joking aside, I do think, although it seems to have gone completely wrong, I do think there's something behind trying to get in young talent that are raw, that could turn out to be some really, really good players. And I put Tell in that box as well. They're not perfect. They make loads of mistakes. They make poor decisions. They're probably not what we need when we're struggling, because I think it's a bit unfair on us to rely on our front line being as inexperienced as it is. But at the end of the day, I do think he's been a bit of a shining light. So hopefully he can carry on the form and he can drag us out of this relegation battle.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and at the risk of wanting to support some of the stuff that Thomas Frank has been saying, I do think in the last few weeks there have been individual performances, and you're right to say Odobert and Tell. I think you could probably include Xavi Simons in there as well, who are just starting to show what they can do and start to come up to speed a little bit. And obviously the general performances and the results are still not there, but there's just little bits and pieces from individuals that are that are starting to show what they have. And you're right, we've just got to keep on backing the players. And for sure, in adversity, they always say you learn a lot in adversity, don't you? So I'm sure they'll come out of this period a better player. But yeah, they're young. Let's keep on backing them, and I'm sure they will come good.
The issue that we've been having has been about sort of performance and approach. And you're right, Mark, some of the actual individual performances have been sort of some of the only shining lights we've had to sort of cling on to. And I'd actually include Romero in that as well. The way he's stepped up, taken some leadership, even though we've been speaking about how unreliable he can sometimes be with his attitude. You can't knock the guy for absolutely trying to drive us forward and even coming up with the goals. I actually said with Odobert and Tell that they might be our biggest disappointments this season. Do you remember when we had the review of the season?
Oh, I do remember that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But my argument was at the time was because I thought they were quite similar players who might just get in each other's way. And if they're not getting ahead of players like Kudus or Kulusevski, who we were hoping, if those players are fit, those players might not be getting a game, but they are. They're stepping up. I think Tell has been perhaps one of our most exciting players this season, but Odebert's getting the minutes and he is delivering. So yeah, good to call out. I'm happy to be wrong. I hope they both get a lot more game time and really progress as players, because I think there are 2 really good players in there. And more than anything, we need them. We need them right now, because we need these young players to get us out of this hole that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got 1 week left of the transfer window. By the time we record again, the transfer window will be closed, and we'll know, whether that £100 million that was talked about has actually been used at all on anything useful.
Yeah,
we shall see.
Exactly. Well, I'm off to pack. Don't forget your passports, gents. And
Of course.
yeah,
Or thermals. It's going to be rotten apparently out there.
Yeah, it might be quite damp, but it won't dampen my mood.
Absolutely. No, we're going to have a good time no matter whether we win, lose or draw. And yeah, if you're going out there, be sure to come and say hello. But yeah, until then, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.
Absolutely. And for our German listeners, auf geht's Spurs.
Wunderbar.